program of this House, this may be the last time I'm standing here to address on this matter. Allow me, with great humility, to begin by thanking you, Mr. Speaker, and the distinguished senators who have given us audience despite the great time constraints that we have had to go through in making this case. I'll be failing in my responsibility for courtesy if I didn't thank the administrative staff, the secretariat staff of this Senate, who have given us significant support, both within this House and in the corridors of these precincts as we found our way around. Mr. Speaker, sir, at this juncture, allow me to proceed to the more substantive parts of the governor's closing submissions. Allow me to begin by pointing out that as a young Christian fellowshipping at Esrave Church of God deep in Vihiga County, and as a middle-aged Christian fellowshipping somewhere in Amalemba Church of God in Kakamega County, I have gathered some enduring lessons from Scripture, and I would start by drawing inspiration from those lessons. The wise man who authored the book of Proverbs, at chapter 18, verse 17, guides us as follows when we are confronted with matters such as this. In a lawsuit, the first to speak seems right until someone comes forward to cross-examine him. That ecclesiastical wisdom has found pragmatic rendition in these proceedings, as I will demonstrate shortly. Mr. Speaker, sir, the governor was presented in the opening remarks by the County Assembly's Council to this assembly, for lack of a better word, as some form of scoundrel. Fortunately, in this august House, both parties have had an opportunity to present documentary and electronic evidence. Mr. Speaker, sir, distinguished senators, when the history of this attempted impeachment of the governor of Meru County, Her Excellency Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, shall be authored, one word will be repeated in that historical text. That word is a Meru word, kibiri. I'm told, in its innocence, it is a stick that is used to stir porridge. Sadly, in that historical text that I've alluded to, that word will have no aura of innocence. I beg to pose the following questions to the hearts, the minds, and the conscience of these distinguished senators. Are we, in making a decision this evening, going to dignify the Kibiri movement that we have seen today by impeaching this governor? Are we, honorable distinguished senators, going to dignify the acts of Honorable Mburu Aburi that you had occasion to watch today live by impeaching this governor? Honorable senators, are we today going to dignify the act of the honorable member for Buri constituency that we have seen today supporting the other acts of Mpuri Aburi that you had observed by impeaching this governor? Are we going to dignify the acts of the deputy governor for Meru County, openly and in the company of the young people of this country that we ought to give proper moral guidance, calling a governor a prostitute? Are we going to dignify that person by impeaching this governor? The governor has been accused of being a leader who disrespects other leaders. Video clips of the alleged disrespect have allegedly been played here, including a song, Wenye Wivu Wajinyonge. On the other hand, the governor has demonstrated to you the sins that have been committed against her by those very leaders she is accused of disrespecting. Distinguished senators, in good conscience, are you going to vote that this governor is a greater sinner than she has been sinned against? In good conscience. How many of us can reconcile our conscience, distinguished senators, with the fact that it is the men you saw today uttering the words you saw them utter and projecting the actions that you saw them project as against the governor that have actually come to this house to complain against that governor? I've heard of the claim of pots calling kettle black. I never knew in my living history I would come across a pragmatic rendition of what that means. Today was my answer. I invite you to have that reflection, distinguished senators. I have asked myself, I invite these distinguished senators to ask themselves, Mr. Speaker, sir, where did these leaders get the moral high ground to invite this house, in view of the sins that they have committed against the governor, to find that the governor has sinned against them? Distinguished senators, technology has been deployed in these proceedings. We are beaming these proceedings live to the whole world by medium that will preserve them to eternity. How shall the members of this house, individually and collectively, account to their children and children's children that they ever dignified the acts of these people who have leveled a war against the governor by confirming the impeachment of the governor? We owe it to ourselves. We owe it to the peace of our conscience to make a decision that takes that into account. Choices have consequences, or so it is a truism.